PowerPoint Chapter 4, dealing with enhancing a presentation with multimedia and then using the PowerPoint rich media tools. So we'll learn how to, again, work more with photos, which we've been doing already, but with video and audio and different things as well. So we'll be learning a little bit more about. The first thing is dealing with inserting pictures. And so you've been doing that already. Remember that multimedia, it can refer to any type of media, could be text, graphics, sound, animation, and video. So all of those are different types of multimedia. Now, pictures are bitmap images that the computers can read and interpret to create photorealistic images, which are created with bits or pixels in a grid or a map. In a bitmap image, each pixel contains information about the color to be displayed. A bitmap image is required to have the realism necessary of a photograph. Now, back in the day, that's what we called, images, and that was a format of image that we used was a .bmp, which was a bitmap. But now that, any kind of image is a bitmap. For example, it could be a JPEG photo or a PNG file. Those are different types of bitmaps. And so it deals with the actual pixels on the screen and then what color that will be. Now, this is important because there is a question I know on the quiz about it. Now, vector graphics are created using mathematical statements. You can think of vector graphics as connect the dots and bitmap pictures like paint by number. Vector graphics, those are using the coordinates in order to create the image. And so it's a mathematical process that's taking place. And there's some advantages to why you'd want to use a vector image over a JPEG or a bitmap type image. Each image type has advantages, disadvantages. Vector graphics can be sized easily and still retain their clarity, but are not photorealistic. Bitmap images represent a much more complex range of colors and shades, but can also become pixelated when they are enlarged. These advantages, disadvantages are evident in the figure. And so we see here that when they enlarge this particular jack-o'-lantern, we see that we can see the individual pixels that make up that image. But this one, when they resize it, you zoom in, you see more, it's smooth. Again, you have to think about that. And sometimes, I'm sure we've done this, we've tried to resize images and they're really pixelated and we don't know why. It's because they're too low of resolution. And so that's why they start getting pixelated like that. So vector images are done through mathematics. A picture on your computer can be added to your presentation in either of two ways. You can use the pictures in the images group of the insert tab. So if you go up here, you go insert and then pictures, either from file or from device, depending upon what version of PowerPoint you have, or you would insert it that way. You also can click on the images button for the placeholder. And so we see, it's kind of hard to see, but it's this one right here. You could click on that. Now, either way, you'll navigate to the location of where your files are stored, either on your computer locally, or if you're using OneDrive from OneDrive, and you'll select it. Let's say you took a picture with, like, let's say your digital or let's say your phone. You probably want to email that picture to yourself or do something and then save it from your email, and then you can then use it. Transform a picture. So now once a picture is onto a slide, PowerPoint tools can be used to adjust the image. And so you've done some of this already, I know, in Chapter 3. You can adjust its background. You can correct any problems with the picture. You can manipulate the colors. So maybe you want it to be certain colors. You want it to be black and white. You can add artistic or stylized effects. You can crop it or resize it. So we see here, this is an example of the remove background tool, which you used already in Chapter 3. Enables you to remove a picture's background. By applying the mark areas to keep and the mark areas to remove tools, you can define the final background that is desired. So you can actually then choose, around the image. So we see here that we got rid of all of the purple around the rows, and so now we're just left with just the rows. Now, PowerPoint's correction tools enable you to adjust the brightness and contrast of an image and also to soften or sharpen an image. Sharpening an image brings out the details by making the boundaries of the content more prominent. Softening an image blurs the edges so that the boundaries are less prominent. Sharpening a picture can make it clearer, but over-sharpening it can make it look grainy. This figure shows the results of sharpening an image by 50%. I mean, you may want to make an image maybe softer to kind of make it look a little more, you don't see all the blemishes maybe of somebody, you know, etc. So you can do that as well. So it's kind of, think of this as kind of like the filters, you know, like on like Snapchat and on the different things, you know, you have different filters. This is kind of sort of like that. It's similar. Now, brightness is in the picture. Correction is it controls the lightness or the darkness of the picture. Contrast is the difference between the darkest and the lightest areas of the picture. This shows the application of decreasing the brightness by 50%. PowerPoint's color tools can be used to change the color of a picture. As seen in the figure, you have 3 different options. You can adjust the saturation, the tone, and then you can recolor. And so this slide shows the application of the first option, saturation. The original picture has a saturation of 100% right here. And then the 3 transform pictures have saturations of 0, which is the grayscale image. 33% and 400%. So 33%, it's a lot more muted tones, and then you see here it's really blown out, really too red at 400%. It looks bad. So this one actually doesn't look too bad. So again, depending upon kind of what you're going for, you can play with this and have a play with it. Again, I mean, the make it black and white, you can do that for grayscale, either for stylistic reasons, because you just like that look, or again, because maybe you're printing it on a printer that only is a black and white printer. So you want to make sure it's going to look really good. And then, of course, you can also change colors here. So you can make it red or blue, and those are kind of fun to play with. And maybe you're trying to match something that you've already, you know, in your document already, you could do that. Now, another part of this is to recolor the image. This image shows the application of the second color option, tone. The tone of the picture is measured in Kelvin degrees, or Kelvin with the K. So it has to do with the light. The original picture temperature is 6,500 K, and they increased it to 11,200. And so it makes the picture a little bit more warmer. And then this shows the third option, which is recolor. There are different options. The sepia recolor option has been applied. Sepia gives it a golden tone, which makes it seem like old-fashioned photography look. PowerPoint's artistic effects can be used to change the appearance of a picture so that it looks like it was created with a marker, as a pencil sketch, or as a watercolor painting. Like many of the previous transformation options, the artistic effects button is found in the adjust group in the format tab. And so we see here that they used one called Glow Edge, gives it more of an artsy kind of look, but there's some different ones here that you might play with. Picture styles often offer many different options that you can use to surround a picture in an attractive frame like we see here, soften the edges of the picture, add a shadow to the edge of the picture, apply a 3D effect to the picture, or to add a glossy reflection below the picture. This is another thing that's helpful that you can do, is you can crop images. So just as you use sizing handles for shapes, you can use them to resize pictures. So you resize a picture just the same as anything else. Now you can also crop an image, which reduces its size by eliminating unwanted portions of the image. So click crop on the format tab, and the size group displays cropping handles instead of sizing handles. Now note that when a picture is cropped, the cropped portion does not display on the slide, but it is not removed from the presentation file. And again, this is helpful to remember just in case you want to later reset the picture back to the original state. Now, because of that, because that's still there, it can make it very large if you have a lot of large high resolution images and you've cropped them and you're maybe only using just a small part of the image. So there is a way that you can compress and you can get rid of that. Cropping it, we get closer to the subject, which is the man and his wife here. We see that and that's, you know, better, or maybe there's like, maybe there was another person here, we don't want to see them, and so we can crop the image. Now our final transformation is that of creating a background image from a picture. You can use a picture to make an appealing background if it is transparent enough that text on top can be easily read. Creating a picture background personalizes your presentation. To use a photograph as a background, you use the Format Background command, and then in a Design tab to select your picture. And you'll find also online that there are pictures that are designed specifically to be background pictures for slides that, you know, they're made so that you can easily see your text, using the internet as a resource. Now, the internet is a resource for pictures, videos, and audio. PowerPoint interacts with the internet in 3 important ways. You can download pictures, videos, and audio from some web pages for inclusion in a PowerPoint presentation. Now, one thing to be aware of is that some of these resources may not be used without permission or license from the creator. So just because it's online doesn't mean it's okay for you to use it. But there are a lot of websites that allow you either to download videos or that allow you to download, you know, audio, or to download images that you can use, okay, that are royalty free, and they allow you, or you can choose, you know, you may pay in order to download and use their content. Now you can insert hyperlinks into a PowerPoint presentation and click on the link to display an associated web page, provided you have an internet connection during the presentation. So maybe there's a certain web page you want to show, you can click on that link, it'll take you to that web page, or you could even do that with, like, let's say the URL for a YouTube video. So you could put the URL in your, which is the address in your presentation, click on that, it would open up the web browser and show the video. The only thing to note is when you're giving the presentation, you got to make sure that you're connected to the internet when you're doing that. And then you can also embed like YouTube videos and things too in the presentation. We'll show you how to do that. Now you can convert any PowerPoint presentation into a web page. Now, just know that a copyright provides legal protection to the written or artistic work, including pictures, drawings, poetry, novels, movies, songs, computer software, and architecture. The rights to works or property in the public domain are owned by the public at large. But again, you create something, when you create it, you have a copyright to it. And so, you know, you have a say if you allow someone to use it or not. So you can't use someone else's work without permission. Adding a video. The addition of video to your presentation can enhance and reinforce your story, and your audience can retain more of what they see. There are several ways, several different file formats for videos. Now, when you use a video, you have 2 different options. You can embed the video, which stores the video within the presentation, creating a large presentation file, or you can link the video, which creates a connection from the presentation to another location, such as a storage device or website. This creates a smaller presentation file than embedding, but linking requires a storage device must be with you when delivering a presentation, or that there is internet access in the room that the presentation is delivered. Or again, as I, so like if you're embedding, or, you know, embedding a video, like let's say from YouTube, it's not going to save the video in your file, but you can, it'll basically link to it. So you'd have to have internet in order for the video to show, or you can just put the link like I said. Now, when you click video in the media group of the tab, you're given options for finding a video online or on your PC. This option to insert video is for online video. So you can either insert directly from your OneDrive or from YouTube, or from using a video embed code from a website. Or of course, if you have something on your computer, something that you've used, either your own digital camera or your own, you know, your phone, it's on your computer, you can of course use that as well. Now, regardless of whether you inserted your own video or a video from a website, the video will include a media controls bar with a pause and play button, a move back button, a move forward button, a time notification, and a mute unmute controls. So we see that here. And then you have some different options when you do videos. PowerPoint tools for working with video can be found in the Video Tools tab. These tools enable you to adjust the brightness and contrast, change color, apply a style and artistic image effects, add or remove bookmarks, trim, crop, or resize the video, and then set fade in and fade out effects. And so we see that here, that when you insert the video and you click on the video it's selected, you have the option then to make corrections and adjustments, to set the video style, to set the same thing as you do with any other object. So this figure shows the flowchart punch tape shape with a gray border and a reflection style added to the video. So we see that there's different things that you can do with that. Now, several video editing commands are found in the Play tab. You can use bookmarks to mark specific locations in the video. This makes it possible for you to quickly advance to the part of the video that you want to display or to trigger an event in an animation. You can set the fade in, fade out duration. You can trim a video. You can determine the play options. This tab also includes a play option, which lets you see the result of applying these effects. So obviously, you may only want to show just a portion of the video, and you can specify that within PowerPoint. You don't need to use an external video editor to edit the video first necessarily. And now working with audio. You can add audio to a presentation to draw on common elements of any language or culture, screams, laughs, sobs, to add excitement, to provide a pleasurable background, set a move, or to serve as a wake-up call for your audience. Now remember the guidelines that we talked about in the textbook and that I shared with you. Any object you add to a presentation should enhance but not distract from your message. So sometimes it can be very annoying if there's a lot of dings and a lot of things going on, but you can, if you need to use it, you can, if it would really make a big deal. Now, your computer needs a sound card and speakers in order to play audio, and a microphone in order to record sound. So most computers, have either speakers built into them or can be plugged into external speakers, and then the sound card usually is built onto the motherboard. So most desktop computers have that. Now, most laptop computers include the necessary hardware for both playing and recording audio. And like video files, audio files have several different file formats. And so laptops obviously have speakers built into them. They also usually have microphones built into them. Now, if you're recording narration, your best bet would be probably to use an external microphone. So either one like what I have, like a headset, or some kind of an external microphone, because oftentimes in these laptops, the microphones that are built into them aren't very good. Same thing with the speakers. If you're giving a presentation, you don't want to rely on the speakers in your laptop. Hopefully, where you're at, you can hook it up into maybe a mixer or into something else so that you actually have better sound. So you can click on the audio button in the media group on the insert tab to display a menu that will allow you to search for audio files on your computer or to record audio. And then sometimes it's helpful to add recorded audio to a slideshow. An example would be recording narration or spoken commentary to create a self-running presentation, such as a presentation running at a kiosk at a mall. To record your own audio, click on Record Audio. The Record Sound dialog box appears. You can start recording, and then when you're finished, hit End Recording. You can also play to hear your recording. If you're satisfied with the recording, you can name the file and click OK. You're probably better off, honestly, you might be better off using another program to record audio, and then you can edit that and then insert it. But you can do it right from within the application if you need to. So when the sound icon is selected, the audio tools displays two sub-tabs, both the format and the playback tab. The playback tab provides options for playing and pausing the audio clip, adding a bookmark, trimming, fading in and out, and adjusting the volume. Clicking the Play Across Slides button is one of two ways to have background music play during your presentation. So if you remember back in chapter 1, I showed you, which we didn't get to hear the song that went with it, but I showed you the example of the PowerPoint slideshow that I made for my dad's memorial service. And I said there was a song that was played, and it was played through all of the slides. So I checked that play across slides. So that played that song across all of the slides. So it didn't just, so it kept playing the song and then the slides kept changing, okay? Now, although the playback tab gives you only two options for starting, either on click or automatically, there are other options available in the timing group on the animations tab. So you can choose to play audio either with a previous event, after a next event, after a delay for a specific duration, or over multiple slides. And these four options are shown in the figure. So you can couple sound with the animation. So either when something's coming in, you can have a sound playing when something's coming in, or whatever. So you can do some pretty advanced builds and advanced effects. Now, by default, audio plays, oops. Okay, there you go. Okay, by default, audio plays until it ends or until the next mouse click. If you are playing background music, this means the music ends when you click advance to the next slide, and you may not want that. And so the second way to play a sound over multiple slides is to use the Play Audio dialog box, which is opened by selecting the audio in the animation pane. As seen in this figure, you must determine the number of slides over which the audio is to be played. If the background music stops before the last slide, you can use the loop until stopped feature to keep the sound repeating. This option is found in the playback tab in the audio options group. So you can have this playing then throughout your presentation. You have it loop. Once it ends, it would start over again. Then we'll talk a little bit about how to do photo albums. So PowerPoint's photo album feature is designed to speed up the album creation process. This feature takes selected images and arranges them on album pages based on your selection. A PowerPoint photo album is a presentation that contains multiple pictures that is imported and formatted through the photo album feature. To create a photo album, click Photo Album in the Images group on the Insert tab. This displays the photo album dialog box, which you insert images from files on your computer. And so you'll actually do this in hands-on 3, you'll do this. As seen in this figure, a photo album is a presentation, which in this case has 3 slides. A 4 per page layout was selected and the images were automatically reduced to fit the size of the placeholders. And then setting photo album options. Once you've created a photo album, there are several photo album tools that you can select. Select picture order, rotate images, change the contrast and brightness, insert captions for the photos, choose a frame shape, select an album layout, and then you can select a theme. And so we see here that within that photo album dialog box, we see here how you can select those. And open up to 1136. Today we have a plethora of files that we need to download. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just minimize this, and I'm going to make a folder on my desktop, and I'm going to call this PowerPoint Chapter 4. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a couple of folders in here. One I'm going to make is I'm going to call it hands-on 1 through 3. And I'm going to make another folder for hands-on exercise 4, because otherwise it's going to get very confusing when it comes to those files and what's needed. So the folder, so I have a folder here, Chapter 4, and then I have hands-on 1 through 3 and hands-on 4. So then if I go back into Canvas, I need to download these. And so the first one is for hands-on 1 through 3. So I'm going to click on the memory. And then again, open your book to 1136. So go ahead and download. So again, hands-on 1 through 3. So we have the memory for their memory album. And then there's several files I need to download. Now, There's a trick with some of these. So for example, with the Beethoven Symphony number 9.wma, when you go to click on that, it's going to want to try to play it. And if you hit play, it's not going to play right now. But if you were to hit play, it would actually go to play it. Well, you don't want to do that. You want to save this. So if you right click on the player, you could go down here to save audio as. It's going to give it a really random name. So I would just call it Beethoven, just so you know, and I may have misspelled it, just so you know what it is that you're downloading. You're gonna have to do the same thing here with this video as well. But these images, you should be fine. You can keep the go ahead and make sure to keep the file names the same, okay? Actually, I can probably just right click, save image as, since these are just images. But be careful with again, with the pictures to not rename them, because you're going to have problems, because the book's going to refer to it by the file name and you're not going to be sure otherwise if you rename the pictures. Okay, one more picture, and then we have a video that we need to download. Okay. Now with that video, you got another trick. So this one is PO4H2 fireworks.wmv. When you go to click on that, it's going to want to, again, want to preview the video. And if you hit play, it's going to want to play the video. Well, we don't want that. We want to save it. So if we right click, we go down here to save video as, and it's going to give kind of a really random name. So we want to just call this one fireworks, because that way you'll know what it's referring to. Do the same thing now. We'll go ahead and download all of the pictures for Hands-On 4. Okay. But again, make sure to change to Hands-On 4. Okay. So I know this is kind of time consuming, but that way you'll have all of your files. I mean, you could come back here too, and just as, you know, leave it open, and just as you come to it. Okay, got one more after this one. And it says here then what you're turning in. So we'll go ahead and we'll minimize this. So we'll go into our PowerPoint Chapter 4 folder, hands-on exercise 1. And the first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and open up P04H1 album. And so if we scroll down, we'll see right here, or memory, excuse me, memory. So it's this one right here. We're getting an error about protected view, so we can hit enable editing. And then we're going to go up here to file to save as. We're going to save it. We'll just hit browse. And again, we just want to make sure that we are in our PowerPoint Chapter 4 folder, hands-on 1 through 3, and call it P04H1 memory underscore last first. So again, whatever your last name and whatever your first name is. So we'll go ahead and resave it. Now, the next step B, it says on page 1137, it says to create a header with your name and a handout footer with the instructor's name and class, and apply to all slides. So again, you're going to go up here to the Insert tab, and then under Text, Header, Footer, Handouts, and then Header with your name, and then a footer then with the instructor's name. You say Professor Abbott, and then our class, which is AOM 30. And then want the current date as well, and then we can apply to all. So it's not going to show up here, but again, it'll show out on the handouts. And then we want to go ahead and make sure we're on slide 1, which we are. So we'll click here. So we're on slide 1. And we want to go ahead and we want to insert our first picture. So we're going to go up here to Insert Pictures. And this time, we're going to choose pictures from this device. And then it talks about the P04H1 media memory underscore media folder. Well, those aren't in there, but those are the images that you downloaded. So we're going to go back into hands-on 1 through 3, and we see that we want to use P04H1 MEM1. So we want to choose MEM1. We'll hit insert. So there it is. Okay, so it's a picture of Amy and Matt. Excuse me, Amy and Dan. So the first thing what we got to do is we're going to go up over here, and we want to change the size. So we want to click on the picture, and we want to click on the size dialog box launcher, and then for the scale height, we want to change that to 96. So this time we're just changing it by a percentage. The horizontal position, we're going to set to 1 inch from the top left corner, and the vertical position, we're going to do 0.11 inches from the top left. So like so. We want to insert the picture of the yellow flower. So we're going to go up here to Insert, same thing, Pictures, either from File or from this device, depending upon what version of PowerPoint you have. And again, there it is. So there's the picture of the flower. And then the first thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and click on the picture and go ahead and remove the background. So we see here under Picture Tools Format, we have the option to remove the background. So again, make sure that picture is selected. We'll click on Remove Background. And then we see that. And you see there should be like you can go up here to mark the areas that you want to keep. And kind of select. If you don't get the whole flower, the parts of the flower. I kind of left part of the background there, but that's okay. What we'll do then is we'll go ahead and drag the left center and sizing handles on the marquee as necessary to make sure that everything is selected. So we did that, and we kept the changes. And then in the size dialog box launcher, we're going to click on the image, and then we'll click up here to size dialog box launcher. For the scale height, we're going to change that to 50%. And then we'll set the position to 11.59 for the horizontal and 4.79 for the vertical. And then we'll go ahead and click on slide 2. We see here now that there are several places for us to insert pictures. And so we're going to click on the large content placeholder on the left-hand side of the slide, and then we'll choose P04H1 memory 3. So we'll click here, memory 3. And then we will click on the icon in the small placeholders to place P4 in the top placeholder and P5 in the bottom. So P4, which is the picture of the pyramid, and then P5. Note that the pictures are centered inside the placeholders. Save the presentation. And then we want to correct a picture and change the placeholder color. So it says you want to include 2 pictures of the couple in a memory presentation, but the pictures were taken in different lighting conditions. You decide to use PowerPoint's correction tools to enhance the pictures. And then you see here another one here of Amy on her honeymoon. So we'll go over here to slide 3. And this time what we want to do is we want to go ahead and insert slide picture P04H1 MEM6 in the left and P04H1 MEM7 in the right. So we'll click here. So we'll do P04H1 MEM6 in the left placeholder, and then P04H7 in the right placeholder. The next thing that we want to do is we want to choose the picture on the right, because we see that it's a little bit darker than the one on the left. So we're going to click on that picture, and then we're going to go under Picture Tools, Format, and then Corrections. We're going to choose Brightness -20% and Contrast 0 Normal. So this one right here. So we're going to click on that. And we see that. Then we'll go over here to the one number 4, slide 4. We're going to click on the picture of Amy this time. And this time we're going to do the same thing. We'll go up here to Corrections. And this time we want to increase the brightness 40%, leave the contrast 0. So the contrast is 0. So the brightness is 40%, contrast will leave normal. So we see now that the image is a little bit clearer. So then what we'll do then is we'll go under these are the picture styles. We're going to click on the More button. We want to choose one called Rotated White, which is this style right here. So it gives it more of a, looks like an actual photograph that way. And then we'll go ahead and save the presentation. So then we want to apply an artistic effect and a picture style, because we want to go back over here to slide 1. So we'll click on slide 1. And then what we'll do is we will select the picture of the couple, which is this one right here. And then we will go and go to, again, to the Format, Picture Tools Format tab. This time we're going to go to Artistic Effects, and we want to choose the one called Texturizer. You can kind of hover and you kind of see what it does. So Texturizer, it's this one right here. So we can click on that. And then what we can do is click on the More under the picture styles, and we'll choose Center Shadow Rectangle. It's this one right here. We'll go ahead and click on that. And then what we want to do is we want to use that on this picture of the flower. So we're going to leave that selected. We're going to go to the Home tab. We're going to click on the Format Painter, and then we're going to go ahead and click on the picture of the flower. So it adds both the shadow, and it also adds the texturizer. Okay, click the picture of the couple again. So we'll do that. And then we'll go up here again to the Format tab. And then under Picture Border, we're going to choose Brown Text 2. And then we'll go over here to Picture Effects, and we'll choose Bevel, and then Cool Slant. Just do Slant then. It's not called Cool Slant, it's just called Slant. So we did that, and then you can save the presentation. And we got a couple more things that we want to do. So now we'll go over here to slide 5. And this time what we want to do is we want to set one of these pictures as the background for the slide. So we'll go up here to the Design tab, and we'll click on Format Background. It's going to bring this up over here on the right-hand side, the pane. And so what we want to do is select this Hide Background Graphics slide, a button, excuse me. Then we'll click Picture or Texture Fill, and we'll hit Insert. Then we'll insert from a file, and we'll choose P04H1 MIM8, and we'll insert it, and there it is. And then we already have the ruler selected, so that's fine. Then what we want to do is select this picture right here. We want to format it because we realize they're kind of off center. And so what we'll do is we'll click on that, then we'll go up here to Picture Tools Format, and then we'll go over here to Crop, which is by the size. So crop, and we want to adjust it so that her hair goes in about the 2.5 inches. So about like so. So it's just that portion, and then we'll hit crop. Then we're done with cropping our images. So the next thing, because we don't need the extra data, we're happy with that, and we're happy with how all the images are cropped. We're going to go ahead and go under the Adjust group, click on one of the pictures. We'll go under the Adjust group, and you see this button here, it says Compress Pictures. So we're going to click on that, and we can have it apply only to this picture, and we want to deselect it because we're going to go ahead and crop all of the images. And then we'll go ahead and click OK. And then we can go ahead and save the presentation. And now for step 5 on page 1143, what we want to do is we want to insert a picture from the internet. So the couple visited Rome, Italy during their honeymoon. So you want to insert a picture of the Colosseum to the end of the slideshow. You insert the image using morgwhateverfile.com, which is a website that provides pictures free for personal or commercial use. So it's slide 6. So we'll click on slide 6. There's a couple different ways you could do it, but we want to click on this link. Well, right now I can't do that. But if I go up here to slideshow and I go from the current slide, it's going to come up like I'm going to present it. And notice now I can actually click on that link, and it's going to open up my browser. And there it is. So then I can right click on the image. I can go to Save As, and I can make sure that I'm in hands-on 1 through 4. And then that number is okay. That file's fine. And we can hit save. So now that we've saved it, now we can go back. We can then go ahead and, well, they want us to copy it, but we can insert it too. So if we go back here, pictures, from device, we see the picture of the Colosseum, and there it is. Then we want to do is we want to go ahead and adjust it so we can bring it up, and it should be in about the position that it is on page 1143. So just the top left-hand corner, and you may have to resize it a little bit. There you go. So it looks good. And that's all there is to it for this first section of the hands-on. So now we'll work on hands-on exercise 2, which is dealing with video. Go ahead and flip on over to page 1155. And then we'll go ahead and resave our presentation. Go up here to File, Save As, and then we'll go Browse. And then make sure that, again, we're in our PowerPoint Chapter 4 folder, hands-on exercise 1 through 3. So this time we'll call it P04H2 memory. So we'll go ahead and resave it. So now what we'll want to do, we want to go on to slide 7. And what we want to do is we want to insert a video. So in order to do that, what you're going to do is, again, make sure you're on slide 7. We want to click on Video on My PC. So we'll go up here to Insert, and then right here, Video. And either from my PC or from this device, you'll click on that. And you'll have to find the video. So we're going to go again up here into onto wherever you're saving your files to. But for me, it's a desktop, PowerPoint Chapter 4, hands-on exercise 1 through 3. And the one I'm working on now is it's not going to be called P04H2 Fireworks, but I called it Fireworks. So I'm going to click on that and hit Insert. And there it is. And then we can go ahead and save our presentation. And if we flip on over to 1156, we need to format the video. First image of the video shows the fireworks in the beginning stages. You decide to use poster frame on the fireworks while they're fully bursting so that the slide has an attractive view on display before the video begins. What we'll do then first is we will click Move 25 seconds forward to advance the video to 2 seconds. So there it is. So 2.00. And then what we want to do then is under the video, let's see, I believe it right here. So video format, you're going to click on poster frame and you want it to be the current frame. So that's going to set that frame as the poster frame. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want to change the video shape. So if we go up here, again, make sure the video is selected. So under the video tools format video shape, there's the shapes same as what you've seen before, but this time it's going to make the video that. And we want to choose the one that's called hexagon, which is this one right here, hexagon. So it's going to make the video hexagon. And then we want to click on video effects. And we want to go down here to shadow. And we want to choose perspective, diamond, lower left. So perspective, lower left. What you can do is you can move the pointer to the bottom of the video. You see the play control, and then you can play the video through. And I don't believe this video doesn't even have any audio, but you can see the fireworks show. Oh, actually, they just want us to present it. So if you were to present this, you go up here, slideshow, from the current slide, and then again, this is how it'll look when you're presenting it. Pretty snazzy, huh? That's pretty cool. So we can hit escape to end that. The last burst of fireworks does not finish its crescendo, so you decide to trim away the last portion of the video. Because you do not want the viewers of the presentation to have to click to begin the video, you're also going to change the start settings to start automatically when they come to that. And so the first thing we'll do is we'll make sure the video is selected under Video Tools Playback. We're going to click on Trim Video, and it's going to bring up this dialog box. And we want to drag the red end marker to 00:06.644. Or you can also set it here to type it in there. But it says, so 644 is the last, so we're pretty close. So it should be to that time code. And then we'll go ahead and hit OK. So now instead of it playing the entire thing, it's just going to play up to that point. And you can see, you can preview it and see. And then what we'll do then is we want to change it so that it starts automatically. So up here, start automatically. So again, under the video tools, playback, you want it to start automatically. And then you also want to have it set to loop until stopped. So just under video tools, check, mark, and play until stop. And now what we'll do is we'll just take a look at all of our slides. So we'll go over here to slideshow from the beginning. And so we can see here, this is the first slide, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and then it automatically starts. And when it gets to the end, it should stop and it should start again. Then what we can do is we'll just go ahead and we'll keep this open because we're going to do one more thing with this file. So we'll go up here to the save button and save the file. Now we'll go ahead and flip on over to page 1163. And on this one, what we'll do is, again, we're going to go ahead and resave it again. So we're going to go up here to the file to save as. We're going to go over here. And this time we'll change the H2 to H3. Hit save. We're going to go over here to slide 1. And this time what we want to do is we want to go ahead and add sound that either is on my PC or from device. So we're going to go up here to insert. We're going to choose audio. And actually it says audio on my PC. So we're going to choose that. And then we're going to go again into our exercise files. And we're going to choose Beethoven. You should have renamed it Beethoven. So we're going to call it Beethoven and we're going to hit insert. Notice then that you're going to get this little speaker icon. And then we're going to go up here to the audio tools, playback. And there's some different options for that. Because you can even have it play in the background or have no style. There's some different things that you can do to this. But the first thing we want to do is have it start automatically. And we want to drag the slide icon to the upper right and hit this hide during show. So it's not going to show it, and we'll save the presentation. And then you can hit play in the preview group just to listen to it, to make sure. So you should be hearing, if you have sound turned up, you're hearing the Beethoven music, okay? So that's what we want. So the next thing we'll do is on the slideshow tab, we're going to click on that, and we're going to click from beginning. Notice then that it is playing that music, and then it also then isn't showing the icon here. And then I'm going to be quiet for just a second. Notice what's going to happen. It's playing. You can hear it. I go to the next slide. What do you think is going to happen? It stops. That's not what we want. And then of course you can tab through these. So what we want is we want that to play that throughout the entire slideshow. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on the slide icon. And then this time what we're going to do is we're going to click on the animations tab. And then what we're going to do is click on, bring up the animations pane. We see the Beethoven file right here. We're going to click on the sound on the arrow. We're going to click on effect options. It's going to bring up this dialog box. And this time what we want is to have it play under the stop playing section. We want it to stop playing after 6 slides. So then we'll click OK. It's going to automatically start playing and preview, that's what you want. Okay. So now what we'll do then is we'll go up here again to slideshow. We'll go up here to the beginning. You'll notice that a I'll be quiet for just a second that it's playing. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the next slide. Let's see what happens now. Okay, so what's happening? It's going to keep playing. So we'll go to the next one. Slide 3. Slide 4. Slide 5. This is slide 6. Notice that it's still playing. It's now played through all of those slides. Now, notice what's going to happen when we get to slide 7. It's going to stop. Okay? So that's what you've told PowerPoint to do. So what you'll do then is you'll go ahead and turn this into me at the end. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close out of PowerPoint for now. Thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and work on our next hands-on activity. Go ahead and flip on over in your text to page 1168, which is hands-on exercise 4, which is dealing with photo albums. So the bride and the groom, they took a trip to Peru, and they captured some images of the scenery, and so they want to prepare a photo album. And so this time what we're going to do is want to go ahead and open up a new blank presentation. So we're going to click on Start, open up PowerPoint. You may have to scroll down to PowerPoint. And this time what we want to do is we want to go ahead and open up a blank presentation. So we'll just click on Blank Presentation. There it is. We'll go ahead and close this little thing on the side there. So the next thing we want to do is we want to go up here to Insert. This time we want to insert a photo album. So we're going to click on Photo Album. And we would like to click on Insert Pictures from File or Disk. And we want to go ahead and go back and choose Hands-on Exercise 4 Files. So we see our images there. And we're going to hit Control and A on the keyboard. That will select all of the images. And then we'll go ahead and hit Insert. And it takes it a moment. You notice then that you have all of the images. We want to reorder some of these, and so we're going to click on the number 4, which is Machu Picchu, Lima, Peru, number 7. And we want to click the move up arrow to reposition it so that it is the first picture in a list. So you see the preview of the picture. We're going to click on the checkbox, and we're going to go ahead and click the up arrow to make that the very first picture. And then we'll go ahead and click Create. We're going to go ahead and go over here to page 1169, step 2, which is to address the contrast and brightness. And so we want to go ahead and edit the photo album. So we're going to click Insert tab and Images. Under Photo Album, we want to click Edit Photo Album. So notice it brings us back to that same dialog box that we were in. And we want to adjust some of these pictures because we realize some of them are kind of dark. So we're going to click on picture 5. We're going to click on the checkbox to select it. And we want to click the Increase Contrast button 4 times. So click 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we want to increase the brightness button twice. So it's this one right here. 1, 2. And then you can go ahead and leave that open because we're going to do one more thing to this. So if you flip on over to page 1170, we want to change the layout of this. Right now, there's just one picture on each slide. So under the picture layout, we can click that and we can choose different options. So we want 4. So we want 4 pictures. We see that, kind of get an idea what that's going to look like. And then it says captions below all pictures. You can select that. So you have to select that layout and then we can click on, we got couple more things. Then we're going to select the shape, the photo frame shape. So we'll click the frame shape arrow in the album layout. So right now it's set to rectangle. We want to choose simple frame white and then click update. So we notice then that it put them all together, and what we'll do then is we'll go ahead and create the handout header that has your name and the footer. Ensure that the instructor's name is on, your name's in the placeholder on slide 1. So make sure your first and last name is here on slide 1, and then we'll go up here to insert, header, footer. So we'll go to the notes header footer. We want the date and time, and the header is going to be your name. And then the footer is going to be the name of your instructor. And we hit apply to all. So we did that. And then we'll go ahead and save the presentation as P04H4 album last first. So we'll go up here to File, to Save As, Browse. So we'll go ahead and go up here to PowerPoint Chapter 4, and then Hands-on 4. And then we're going to call this P04H4 album. Last first. So we'll save that. Now, if you flip on the page over to 1172, we have one more thing that we need to do. And so for that, we want to go ahead and adjust this again. So we're going to go up here again under Insert, and then again under the photo albums, we're going to click on that. Oops. Click on the arrow and choose Edit Photo Album. So we have this. We want to change the layout of it again. And so we're going to go over here to Picture Layout and choose one picture. And then we're going to choose the frame shape arrow. And this time we're going to choose Center Shadow Rectangle. And we're going to go ahead and hit OK. So now we see that. The next thing that we need to do is we need to go over here to the Design tab, and we want to choose the one called Banded. Okay, so here's this one. So we'll click on that, and then we want the orange variant. So we see here under variants, we want the orange variant. So we have that, and then we need to fix something on slide 4. We see here that we misspelled downtown. So we're going to fix that to say D-O-T-O-W-N. And then what we'll do then is we'll go ahead and save this. And we'll close it. And we'll close that. So then we'll go back into Canvas and we'll go ahead and submit our file. You'll click on Submit Assignment. Go ahead and hit Browse. And so for the memory, you're going to choose P04H3 memory. And then we're going to add another file. We're going to browse. And we're going to go ahead and go back into Hands-on 4. And we're going to choose the file P04H4 album. So those should be the files. And then you're going to hit Submit Assignment. And then it might take it a little bit to go ahead and submit that. A little bit. Okay, so there it is, and it's going to refresh, and then I'm going to get a message that says that it was submitted.